Hey, my feel good friend. Today I am super excited to be celebrating 75 episodes of the Feel Good Social podcast with you, my feel good listener. Thank you so much for tuning in every week. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be your little earbud buddy every week. I absolutely love being a part of this community and I think you're amazing. And so I just wanted to celebrate 75 episodes with you. We're at 20K downloads as of this month. And it's just been such a wonderful journey that, could not be possible without you. So thank you so much for showing up. That said, if you have enjoyed this podcast, I would absolutely love to connect with you on Instagram is the best way to connect with me, probably. Give me a follow at Feel Good Social and make sure that you hit me up in the DMs. Let me know that you came from the podcast because I will be sure to give you a follow back. And I would just love to connect with you and learn more about you, my beautiful friend. Also, if you would share your favorite episode with one of your other biz buddies or to your Instagram stories. If you share it on Instagram, make sure that you tag me at Feel Good Social so that I can see it and reshare it and just spread some love right back to you. Thank you so much for being a part of this awesome community of down-to-earth entrepreneurs. You are the reason I show up every week, and I am just so grateful for you, my friend. All right, so to celebrate 75 episodes of the Feel Good Social podcast, I thought I would talk about something that all of us are doing as entrepreneurs, the main goal of entrepreneurship, but also something that a lot of us struggle with when it comes to our businesses, and that is the big kahuna that is selling, and especially selling in a genuine way that doesn't make you feel icky or cringe or feel just kind of weird. Believe me, I am one of those people who, if you feel weird about selling when it comes to your business, I have been there too. This is something that I've been working on throughout my time as an entrepreneur. And I definitely understand those limiting beliefs that might be holding us back from showing up and selling in the best way, right? So today I'm actually going to be sharing my 6 favorite tips for selling in a genuine way, especially when it comes to social media. And I do know that when it comes to selling, there's usually 2 sides of the coins where we struggle, right? There's the mindset side of actually showing up and doing it with confidence. And then there's also the strategy side of showing up in the most strategic way so that you can maximize the sales that you're making and the impact that you're making for your business, right? So I'm splitting my tips up into 3 mindset tips and 3 strategy tips for selling. And I'm so excited about it, honestly. Like I said, selling has not always been the thing that I've been best at, but as entrepreneurs, we got to do it. So I'm going to be sharing my 3 tips that has been the most helpful for me for mindset, and the 3 tips that have been the most helpful for me for strategy as well. And I hope that you do enjoy this episode. Let's dive right in. Hey, friend, and welcome to the Feel Good Social Podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and I'm here to help you market your business in a genuine way that works without wasting your precious time. On this show, we chat about social media strategy and mindset tips with a focus on, you guessed it, feeling good. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some genuine conversation for the good of your biz. Do you know what your brand vibe is on Instagram? I have a new fun quiz that's just for you, my friend. I, of all people, know how hard it is to figure out how the heck you're supposed to translate your brand to the gram. And with this quick 7-question quiz, we will help you hone in on your brand's personality, voice, and visuals so that you can show up consistently and create content that looks beautiful and feels on brand for you. This quiz is so awesome. It's been a long time coming, and I know that you're going to have a lot of fun with it. Plus, the results will help you show up in the best way for you. If you'd like to check out our new brand vibe quiz, just head to feelgoodsocial.com/quiz. pretty easy. Head to feelgoodsocial.com/quiz to find out what your brand's vibe is on social media and start showing up there for your brand. All right, my feel good friend. So let me just start by saying, once again, if selling has felt weird or icky to you at all as a new entrepreneur, especially, I totally get it. I have grown up with all of those limiting beliefs of money making you greedy and, thinking that selling has to always be done in that used car salesman-y kind of way, which has definitely stemmed from some childhood experiences for sure, but also just from buying some of my first cars and actually dealing with used car salesmen, which I know that not all car salesmen are car salesman-y, but there is the stigma for a reason. Let's be honest. So, anyway, if you feel that way too, if you have these weird limiting beliefs around selling, you're not alone. I have totally been there with you, my friend, and so many people in my community, so many of my coaching clients and students also struggle with this stuff. So don't worry, it's something that a lot of us do go through. However, I do have to say, those limiting beliefs that we're holding on to from childhood, from whatever we grew up feeling the way we feel about selling, they're holding us back in our business now, right? Selling should not have to feel weird for us as entrepreneurs because it's necessary, right? This is what we are trying to do. And also, and I'll talk about this a little bit more in a second when I share some of my mindset tips for shifting, reframing your thoughts about selling and all those things. But we need to sell in our businesses to not only prosper and thrive as entrepreneurs to help our businesses thrive, but we also actually need to sell in order to help people, right? And so it is necessary and it's definitely holding us back if we feel icky about it. But it is definitely hard to kick the habit sometimes when it comes to feeling icky or weird or not knowing how to show up in the most strategic way and sell so that you can maximize the results you're getting. So, where I want to start with my selling tips is with the 3 tips that I have around mindset, right? Because I think that this is the first step is reframing, shifting those beliefs when it comes to selling so that you can show up with more confidence and actually do it and actually sell, right? That's the first step is realizing that you feel weird, shifting your beliefs, and then actually showing up and doing it. So, my first and favorite tip when it comes to selling is I like to give myself a pep talk. Before I have to show up and sell in any way, I like to remind myself of exactly how I help people and past people who I have helped, the results they've gotten. And then I like to really get excited about my offers. Okay. This has come in so handy when I was just going through my online course launch for the social map, which we've been running through June, and it has been so amazing connecting with my students in all of these different ways. But, especially during those high promotional periods in your business when you are showing up and making your offers directly in the most direct sales way, it can get a little scary, right? We have this like maybe fear of rejection that pops up for us. Maybe we feel kind of icky and sleazy and whatever. And here's the thing, you're really not. Even though the little voice in your head is telling you, oh my gosh, people don't like you. Oh my gosh, people think that you're so into yourself. Oh my gosh, people, think that you're being super pushy, like a used car salesman or whatever. You're really not. And you won't be sleazy. You won't show up in that way if you remind yourself of how helpful you actually are with your offers and get excited about your offers and offer them in an excited way. This is my favorite way to sell because it just is it's such a shift from being like feeling like you're showing up and saying, hey guys, buy from me versus, hey guys, I have this awesome offer that I know will help you so much. I'm so excited about it. I have seen the results myself and with my clients. It's so awesome. It's going to be so fun. I'm so excited about it. Would you like to buy this thing? There's just such a difference. I think internally first, right? For me, at least, when I remind myself of exactly how I help people with my offers, and then I get excited to offer it to more people and I get excited to help more people with my offers, it is so great internally, firstly, because then I can show up and sell knowing I'm fully within my integrity, right? Knowing where my heart is when I'm offering to sell things. That is so helpful for me internally. But then I also believe that that energy comes across through the sale that you're making, and it gets the other people excited about your offers too, right? Energy is so important, I think, in business in general, and also when it comes to your social media content, right? When I teach social media marketing, I teach to try to create content when you are in a good energetic space, because I do think that that energy comes across to the people on the other side of the screen when they're consuming your content. And the same thing goes for selling, my friend. When you can show up and sell in an excited way, and you know where your heart is, and you know that you're trying to help people or whatever lights you up, right? Then the person on the other side of the sale can feel your energy. They will get excited too, and they will feel more compelled to buy from you, right? Because they're excited about it. And it doesn't feel icky or weird or sleazy or anything like that. It just feels great. And I laugh too because, my mom and I have actually had this conversation quite often about I grew up in a family, actually, my family owned two different canoe and kayak businesses, one in Montana and then one in Indiana. And my mom has had so many different jobs across the board. I actually interviewed her for the podcast and I have yet to share that interview, but I'm going to share it soon. She's a super rad lady. But anyway, she has actually had so many different jobs. She started out as a chiropractor, she's been a nanny, she's been all these different types of things, computer teacher at an elementary school, all these different jobs. She's so cool, my friends. But one of the things that she really loved, one of the jobs that she really loved was selling canoes and kayaks, because people would show up and want to buy a kayak, right? They're excited about it. Kayaks and canoes, people buy them usually to have fun with them, right? It's a recreational sport. And so when she was selling the canoes and kayaks, it wasn't hard because people on the other side were excited to buy them from her, right? And it was really more so about, okay, let's find the right boat for you. Let's do this for you. Let's get excited about this. And when they found the right boat, they were excited, and it didn't feel like a sale. It felt like an experience, and like she was aiding in people living a better life and having more fun, right? And I don't care what industry you're in, you can create that energy within your sale as well, right? If we can find a way to get excited about our offers and communicate that excitement with the people who we're selling to, then it will feel less like a sale and it will feel more like an amazing experience and a helpful experience, right? That's my first mindset shift is if you have to ever show up and pitch to someone, if you have to ever show up and sell, just remind yourself how much you help people. Go back, think back to times when you have actually helped your clients and they've seen results in some way, right? And then get excited about it again and show up and sell in that energy. That's my very first tip. And it's just been such a life changer for me, seriously. My second mindset tip when it comes to selling is to remind myself once again, over and over, I am supposed to sell. And it's also okay if people aren't ready to buy from me, right? If you're anything like me, you have this really crazy little voice in your head that is always whispering your biggest fears to you, right? Like people hate you, you're all into yourself, whatever. That's what my voice says. So let's be honest. So anyway, what I like to remind myself is, Kinsey, you are fully in the right to show up and sell in your business. In fact, you're supposed to sell in your business. And it's also okay if people don't want to buy from you. It doesn't mean that they hate you. It either means that they aren't your people and, you probably wouldn't be able to help them anyway. And they should definitely go find someone who can help them in that way. Or it could mean that they're not ready to buy from you yet. And that's okay too, right? Usually, the little voice in our head, if you have one too, it whispers the worst case scenario things to you, which 99% of the time are not true. I mean, who knows? There are probably people out there who do hate me. Everyone has people who hate them. That's fine. But, the people in my audience who I'm communicating with, they're there for a reason. They want me to help them. And they probably don't hate me if they're not ready to buy from me yet. Or they also don't hate me if they realize that I'm not the person to help them right now. Right. And so I always like to remind myself of that. Like, give myself permission to sell and empower myself to do so. I'm totally in the right to sell in my business as an entrepreneur. That's what we're supposed to do. And you can do this. You know what I mean? And then I also like to remind myself that there are so many people out there who you can help. And there are so many people out there who are not the right people for you to help. And that's okay. Right. And you can't let those people who either aren't ready to buy from you or who will never buy from you because they're just not your people. You can't let those people stop you from showing up and selling because you'll be missing out on the amazing opportunity to help those people who you can help with your offers, right? If you let those people who aren't ready to buy from you or don't want to buy from you dictate the way that you show up in your business, then you are going to not be able to actually show up and help the people who are ready to buy from you, those people who you can help with your offers, right? And so I always like to remind myself of that. It's okay to sell. And it's okay that some people aren't ready to buy. And I still need to show up for those people who are, because that's how you make an impact in entrepreneurship. And that's how you make a thriving business, right? So that is the second mindset shift that I really like to make when it comes to selling. First, I like to give myself that pep talk, pump myself up. Then I like to remind myself, Kinsey, you got this. Like, this is what you are supposed to do and it's expected. And if you don't, it's kind of not a business. You know what I mean? It's also okay if people don't buy from you because there are those people out there who do need you to sell to them, right? And finally, the third mindset shift, it's not really a mindset shift, it's more of a action, call to action when it comes to selling in a genuine way. If I am ever like getting the selling scaries, which still happens all the time, right? You can make all the mindset shifts. You can try to work through your limiting beliefs and all those things. But there are still those times when you get in your head and you're like, oh my gosh, people hate me. Oh my gosh, I'm showing up and being sleazy. Oh my gosh, whatever, whatever, whatever. Oh my gosh, I'm just scared to show up and sell, right? When that happens, then that's when you need to reach out to your support system for a pep talk, right? Reach out to someone in your community, reach out to an entrepreneur friend, reach out to your mom, your dad, your boyfriend, your husband, your girlfriend, whoever you have in your community who loves you, and tell them, hey, I'm about to do this. Can you please just tell me how awesome I am? And I'm laughing right now because I totally did this when I was launching the social map. This past cart open for the social map was the fourth time I've opened it for enrollment. And, the fourth time around, I do feel that I handled it way better than the first time, second time, third time, for sure. I've been improving every launch when it comes to the selling scaries and my mindset and all of those things. But I still think that there's those moments when you get in your head about selling, when you get scared to show up, when you just like start getting down on yourself and thinking, oh my gosh, this isn't working. What's going to happen? Whatever, whatever, whatever. And so, of course, it happened to me in this last round of the social map, especially when it came to showing up on Instagram lives. I actually really love showing up on live video, but I was showing up 5 days a week on live video throughout my social map launch because I just wanted to show up and make sure that I was giving as much value to people as possible, reaching the most people possible so that they could sign up for the social map if they wanted. And I get kind of scared when I show up on live video. It's funny because I do enjoy it and I'm very, very happy when I go live. However, I still get scared and like have to shake it out, dance it out, sing it out a lot of times right before I hit that live button. And then, especially if I'm showing up for a live where I'm going to be directly salesy, where I'm talking directly about my offers and I'm selling. I get the selling scaries. So, what I did was actually reach out to my boyfriend and I said, babe, please tell me how awesome I am right now. I'm about to go live. I'm feeling the selling scaries. And I just like need you to tell me that you think I'm cool. And he was like, you are beautiful, smart, and fucking amazing, or something like that. He said it with like a British accent. We're super weird and like talk to each other in British accents a lot of times. But it was just so wonderful because it was just a reminder that I have people in my life who love me still. I don't know if you're like me, but my brain gets a little crazy sometimes. And I'm so totally willing to admit that to you right now, a feel good listener, because I know that you love me too. And I love you too. And let's be real. Our voices in our heads can tell us things that all of a sudden we start to believe, right? And they can start to snowball like that. And so if you feel that anxiety coming when it comes to selling, if you feel the selling scaries coming on, if you've tried to pump yourself up, if you've tried the mindset tricks, but you still have that snowball of anxiety in your chest when it comes to selling, reach out to someone who loves you and tell them exactly what you need them to tell you. There is no shame in, reaching out to my boyfriend Brett and being like, hey babe, can you tell me how awesome I am, please? Because I don't want to just reach out and say, hey, how's it going? Whatever, whatever, whatever. Brett doesn't know what's going on in my crazy head. I needed him to tell me how much he loved me, that I was beautiful, that I was back and smart. That's totally not a British accent. That sounds more like Boston, but I don't know. Anyway, I understood that about myself, that I was getting in my head about things and I knew what I needed to hear from him. And I asked him to give me what I needed. And he dutifully responded with exactly what I needed to hear so that I could hit that live button and go live and offer the social map to all of my amazing community on Instagram and with confidence and just feeling good about it. And also just feeling solid in the fact that I knew I had my support system behind me and I knew Brett was cheering me on. There's been so many times when I've called my mom. Actually, I call my mom most days. Let's be honest. I'm like complaining about work and then also being like, can you tell me I'm cool? Okay, now I sound super codependent, which I probably am. But let's be honest. I think that part of being an entrepreneur and managing your mindset, especially when it comes to these things that are scary, like selling, I think that it shows maybe maturity. I don't know. Is that the word I'm looking for? To be able to manage your mindset, to understand what you need in what moments and reach out for support when that is something that you need, right? It just allows you to show up in the best way. What does that mean for you, my feel good listener? If you can understand how your mind works and if you can create tools in your mindset toolbox to help you deal with whatever limiting beliefs or selling scaries or issues you might have when it comes to entrepreneurship, and know how to manage your mindset and manage your emotions during those stressful periods, that's probably the most transformational thing you can do for yourself as an entrepreneur and your business. Let's be honest, because you as the leader of your business, you're who makes it happen. You know what I mean? And so if you can learn how to manage yourself, manage your mindset, all of those things, create tools that you can stick in your mindset toolbox and pull out, whip out whenever you're feeling, however you're feeling, to navigate the crazy emotional roller coaster that comes with owning a business, then that's probably one of the best things that you can do. Honestly, like in my, few years in entrepreneurship at this point, managing my mindset and learning what Kinsey needs and when I need it and how to whip out the tools that I need in the right moments. That has been so, so, so helpful for driving my business forward and creating a thriving community, right? So those are my 3 tips when it comes to mindset and selling is firstly, remind yourself of how helpful you are with your offers and get excited about your offers. 2, definitely, definitely remind yourself that you are supposed to sell in your business. You are in the right to sell. Empower yourself to sell. Step into that CEO power. Oh, one quick little tip that I like to think of. Sometimes I like to think of Feel Good Social as this separate entity, this separate, awesome, amazing persona who I am responsible for. Okay, this is like a bonus tip. Sometimes I like to think of Feel Good Social as this amazing, awesome woman who I am responsible for and I need to lift up and support and bring into the world, right? That helps me as well when it comes to showing up and selling. I'm like, I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for Feel Good Social because my Feel Good Social brand is awesome. And it's a bigger message that I want to spread and all of those things. And it empowers me to show up and sell. And also remember that Feel Good Social isn't for everyone, and that's okay. And if people are turned off, it's fine because there are those people on the other side of the tracks that do want to hear from me, that are super, super helped by me. And so that's what I need to do, right? And then the third tip is to reach out to your support system for a pep talk because that is just so, so helpful when the selling scaries inevitably creep in. Even if you do all the other tools, even if you try to manage your mindset yourself, that support system of people behind you to give you that pep talk when your crazy brain just goes down the rabbit hole of feeling crazy about selling is so, so helpful, my friend. Last thing I want to say about that is if you do need someone, if you do need a support system to give you a pep talk when it comes to selling or anything like that, dude, reach out to me on Instagram. I would absolutely love to connect with you at Feel Good Social in the DMs. If you're like going through some sort of launch or you're trying to sell a new product or anything like that, and you're feeling all crazy and you're like needing some sort of support or pep talk from another person, reach out to me on Instagram at Feel Good Social in the DMs. Just let me know what's going on. Let me know how you're feeling. I will not be there to judge you at all. I will be there to give you a big virtual hug and also tell you how awesome you are and tell you that you're amazing and tell you that you can do this. Okay. So I will be that person for you if you need it. All right, my friend. Now let's move on to selling tips for strategy because this is the other side of the selling coin that a lot of us struggle with, right? The first thing is being able to show up and sell with confidence, but then there's the how. How can you show up and sell in the most strategic way so you can get the best results possible? And this is something, that I teach often, more so than maybe the mindset stuff. The mindset stuff is just personal experience that I have, and I do teach it, but this is more so what I focus on when it comes to social media marketing is the strategy, right? So my first tip when it comes to selling on social media, my first strategy tip is to focus on the transformation instead of the how. Okay. And what I mean by that is, as entrepreneurs in the middle of our businesses, creating our products and services and awesome offers and all of those things, a lot of us focus on the what of what we're selling, right? The what of our offers, because it makes sense for us because we're in the middle of our businesses. That's what we're creating. That's what we're offering people. It's, this is what I'm selling. This is what I'm offering. Do you want it? And a lot of us focus on that because that's what makes sense from our side of the equation. However, what actually gets people to buy our offers is not usually the what of what we're selling. It's actually more so the transformation that our customers are going to experience after they buy what we're selling. Okay. So what I mean by transformation is normally when it comes to selling in your business, your people are struggling with something that you then help them solve with your offer. And then there's an after benefit that they can enjoy their life more so, or there's like the benefit, the afterlife of their problem, right? So there's the problem, there's the solution, which is your offer, and then there's the benefit. And that's what they experience after they have implemented whatever it is you're selling. Okay. And normally, what really impacts people's purchasing decisions is the transformation, the empathizing with their problems, and then what their life looks like after they buy from you. Okay. But a lot of times when we show up and sell our offers, we're like, here's this coffee mug. It's 16 ounces and it's cute and whatever, right? Like I'm selling you this coffee mug, but it's not the problem of you want to take coffee on the go, but you don't have an awesome mug that is going to have all the features that you need. You know what I mean? Like the problem for a coffee mug, maybe if like it's a to-go coffee mug, I guess, is, someone needs the caffeine in the morning and they want it quick and they want it on the go. They want to take it in the car easy, and they want a mug that is going to maybe brighten their day or whatever. Then they buy your mug, the solution, and the benefit after is going to be that now they can, enjoy their caffeine while they're on the go in their busy lives, getting their kids to school, running to work, doing this, doing that. That's the benefit. That's the transformation, right? And they also can be uplifted. Maybe your coffee mug has like some sort of uplifting saying on it or something. I don't know. But anyway, that's kind of the transformation story, right? There's a problem of I don't have anywhere way to carry my coffee around in my busy morning. Then there's the solution, which is your product, the coffee mug. Then there's the benefit after your coffee mug, which is what does their life look like afterwards, right? So what I want you to do is we do sometimes need to tell people about the what. I mean, we definitely need to tell people what they get when they buy our offer, right? But the bigger focus of your messaging should be empathizing with your customers' problems. So I want you to ask yourself, what are my customers specifically struggling with that I'm helping them solve, right? What does that look like? Empathize with the emotions of that problem. And then also think, what does my customer's life look like after they've purchased from me? And empathize with that, right? What are the emotions in that? What does that life look like? Get specific, right? And when you create sales content, when you create promotional content, you do want to sometimes definitely tell them what they're getting, like maybe the details of the mug or whatever it is. I don't know why. I'm drinking coffee. That's why I created this coffee mug thing. But what you really want to focus on more so, the main parts of your messaging should be focusing on that transformation, right? The problem and the benefit after, okay? That is so much more powerful when it comes to marketing messaging than just focusing on the what of what you're selling. Okay. So definitely brainstorm some of those and make sure that you're including the problem, the pain points, the before, and the benefit, the afterlife in your messaging, in your content, in your marketing. And believe me, that is going to help so much. All right. The second tip that I want to share with you when it comes to strategy for selling is storytelling. And I geek out about storytelling so much. Actually, episode 33, I believe, is a storytelling focused episode. So scroll back down to episode 33 and I shared more tips for telling stories. But not only is storytelling great for upping your know, like, and trust relatability, likability factor when it comes to your brand so that people want to buy from you and not the Jane Schmain brand over there that's just like yours but not as cool. Storytelling can really help make you stand out on the crowded platforms, all of these things. But stories can actually help you prove a point which is amazing for selling, right? When we're selling, we're trying to persuade people to buy from us. We're trying to persuade people to see things the way we see them, to prove certain points and all of those things. And stories can help you do that. Think fables, right? We've all grown up hearing The Boy Who Cried Wolf or other, Bible stories or whatever. Most children's fairy tales have a point that they're trying to prove, a lesson that they want kids to learn. And the same thing can be said for adults. And we can actually use this concept in our business to help prove the point that our products work. We can use stories to relate to those pain points, to empathize with those pain points, to show the transformation, to not just tell the transformation, but to show the transformation that our products can provide for our customers. Stories can be so, so helpful when it comes to that stuff. And also, the best thing about storytelling when it comes to your marketing promotional content, especially, is that stories actually really, really help to connect to people's emotions, right? Empathizing with your ideal customers is one of the best things you can do because we buy from an emotional place. I actually talk about this in that storytelling podcast episode I was talking about, but people buy based on their emotions. They buy based on what they want, not what they need logically, usually, right? And stories can really help connect with people's emotions and compel them to want to buy from you. There's a fact out there that says like stories, they actually apparently fire neurons in this part of our brain that makes purchasing decisions, right? There's been like studies. And of course, I do not sound like I have all the research behind me, which I don't. It's, most of my facts come from reading them, hearing them, listening to them, all the things multiple times. But I have heard from multiple sources that stories fire neurons in our brain, in the part of our brain that makes purchasing decisions, that connects on that emotional level. And so that's why storytelling can be so, so helpful when it comes to your marketing content, right? So when it comes to promotional content, of course, you want those posts that are like, hey, look at this product I have. Here are the specs, buy from me. But you want to also tell customer transformation stories, right? And this is going back to the first tip that I had, which is to focus on the problems and the benefits, the transformation, not just the product, right? That can be told in story form that then will compel people to buy from you. Right. So customer transformation stories are wonderful. Direct transformational stories are wonderful. Just telling the story behind a product. This is what helps sometimes connect on emotional levels with people, is telling why the heck you created it. Is there something special about your product? Was there some special instance that you had with a customer that created the product, something specific, whatever those stories look like, tell those stories around your product, because stories are just so much more compelling than facts and figures and what the heck your product includes and all of those things. Stories get people to buy from you. So tell more stories. And my sixth and final tip, my third tip for strategy, sixth tip overall when it comes to selling, is to stack your social media posts strategically. Okay. This is one of my favorite things to talk about because it's something that a lot of us, especially as new entrepreneurs, don't really realize we need to do. Actually, a lot of us don't think we should do this. It doesn't really make sense, but it's actually something that is encouraged to do, which is to talk about your products and services and offers again and again and again and again and again in multiple ways in order to really make your message clear to people, make your message sink in for your ideal customers, and then compel them to actually finally hit that purchase button, right? Actually, these numbers have been all across the board. Today, I heard that this number actually increased, but for a while, people have said that we need to see, hear, read something 7 to 10 times before we actually take action on it, right? We are all being blasted in the face with content all day, every day, information crazy right now. our culture is. And so it's hard for a lot of us to pay attention to things. Our attention spans are super, super minimal. It's hard for us to retain information that we consume, right? And then it's also hard for us to make that decision to actually purchase and buy. And so, what we actually really need to do in being strategic with our content, especially on social media, is create posts about our offers again and again and again and again. Just keep talking about it, my friend. And one thing that I like to say is if you're getting bored with your content, if you're afraid that you're talking about the same thing too much, if you feel like, oh my gosh, people like are just going to think that all I talk about is this thing, then you're doing it right. Because from our perspective, from our side of the screen, from creating content for our business, we feel that repetition, right? We understand, oh my gosh, I'm talking about the same thing again and again and again. What the heck? People are going to get bored. I'm bored. I kind of hate myself right now, whatever, whatever, whatever. But people on the other side of the screen, our ideal customers, they are the ones who are being blasted in the face with all of this different type of content all the time, right? And so we really need to be hitting them with the same messaging every time we connect with them in order for them to remember who we are, to trust us, to get to know us, like us, and to want to buy from us, right? And so if you can stack your posts strategically and talk about your offer again and again and again and again and again in multiple ways, especially during a high promotional period like I just was in for the social map launch, then that's the best thing you can do to get your audience to actually take that action and buy from you, right? So, what I mean by stacking your posts strategically is let's say, okay, for the social map launch that I just went through last month, I talked only about the social map for a hot minute. And actually, I talked about the brand vibe challenge for a hot minute and then more so the social map, my online course. But, I thought about the social map. That's my main content pillar for that month. And I thought, okay, how many different ways can I talk about this social map course for my audience? How many different types of posts can I create about this, right? So there's testimonial posts. There's straight up testimonial posts. Kinsey's course was awesome. You should definitely join, which helped to add social proof and whatnot. And I definitely posted a few of those. But there's also client transformation stories that I shared about the social map, where my student Julia owned 2 businesses and she was having trouble creating content strategically for both of them and managing it all without going crazy. So then she joined the social map and now she's able to not only create content for her intuitive dietitian business. I was like, what is she doing? She has like an intuitive eating business. And she also has a climbing and just outdoor gear business. So now she can create content for both of those businesses. And also, she plans out her dog's Instagram content with the social map process that I teach, right? So that's a client transformation story. She was feeling overwhelmed. She felt like she was losing her mind. Then she joined the social map, and now she can create content for not only 2 accounts, but also her dogs, which is pretty cool, right? I can tell a story like that. I can tell a story about the pain points, speaking directly to my ideal students and how the social map can help them and then what their life will look like after, right? So it's kind of that transformational story again, but not client focused. It's more directly focused to the person that I'm speaking to in my content. I can share just posts that's like, what do you get? What are you going to learn, right? I can share posts that are, behind the scenes of the social map, talking about that again and again. I can talk about some of the topics that I teach in the social map and why they're important and how they can help improve your business. There were so many different types of posts that I could create when it came to the social map. I actually had too many. I had to get very picky and choosy about which ones I actually wanted to post because I only had, a 2-week time period when I was really posting hardcore about the social map. But, that to be said, the more you can talk about your offers, the more you can stack your posts on social media in a strategic way, talking about the same thing again and again from different angles, deep diving, broad overviews, transformational stories, funny behind the scenes stories or sneak peeks at content or whatever it is. Do that. And you are not being annoying by showing up that way. You are actually being more strategic and you are more likely to get more results because we need to be doing that. I said earlier, it's 7 to 10 times before someone actually purchases from you. That's like a statistic that's been in the industry for a long time now. But actually, I was just listening to a podcast this morning that said it's up to like 20 times or something, which doesn't surprise me, right? Because we really are a culture that is being overloaded by content, information, especially with how crazy this past year has been and the entire world just like being blasted with news and social media stuff and all the things. Like, we need to be talking about our offers again and again and again in order for them to be noticed, remembered, hit home, sink in, and then finally take action on, right? So those are my 3 tips for strategy, my friend. First thing is empathize with your ideal customers. Make sure that you're focusing on the problems and benefits, the whole transformational journey of your offers and not just the what, not just the solution, right? The second thing is to tell stories because that really helps to prove our points and activate the neurons in our brains that make the purchasing decisions and connect to our customers on emotional levels. And then finally, stack your posts strategically, talk about your offers again and again and again from various angles and different ways, because that's the only way that it really will land home for your ideal customers and will get them to take action. Okay. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode, my friend. I kind of went off the cuff a little bit. This is a little bit different than I normally do my solo shows. I am more eloquent when I'm writing, but I just kind of decided I would hop on here and talk to you this time. So I hope that you enjoyed this 75th episode of the Feel Good Social podcast. Next week, we will be joined by another amazing guest, Julia, who will be chatting about how SEO can really, really help you to boost your online presence and how you can connect your SEO with your content and repurpose your social media content in certain ways that will help to boost your SEO, which is going to be super, super cool. It was a super fun conversation. So anyway, my friend, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. If you do enjoy the Feel Good Social podcast, please don't forget, share it to your Instagram stories and make sure you tag me at Feel Good Social so I can see it, reshare it, and spread the love right back to you. All right. I hope you have a great week. Talk to you later. Thanks so much for listening, my friend. For show notes and a whole lot of other awesome freebies, visit feelgoodsocial.com. Simply go to feelgoodsocial.com for all the goods.